If you're looking for a successful career change at the age of 65 or older, you are in luck. In today's workplace, although we're dealing with ageism, you can find a career where your decades of life experiences and skill sets are an asset. Here are four in demand jobs for senior citizens: professional and business services. Administrative work specifically is a great fit if you're naturally organized. Now, the job may include things such as keeping records, handling the phones, and organizing office activities. Now, in 2022, there were over 1 million senior citizens working in the professional and business services industry, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Now, what is the pay? For example, an admin assistants, they're usually paid an average of $19 an hour. Number two, finance and insurance. It's estimated that there are over 400,000 senior citizens employed in banks, financial institutions, and the insurance industry. The average rate for a bank teller, for example, is $17 an hour. An accountant or bookkeeper positions, they earn about $20 to $33 an hour. Now, if you have a passion for helping youth learn, well, a job in education could be the right match for you because colleges, universities, and schools often need permanent and substitute teachers. There are close to 1 million older workers in the education field. Some jobs don't even require a degree in education. You can actually get certifications to gain the required skill sets. And there's also educational jobs that provide training as part of their onboarding process. Now, high school teachers can earn as much as $60,000 a year, depending upon experience. Next, there's the leisure industry. They're offering later in life work opportunities such as working at a theater, performing arts, museum, sports, and recreation facilities, just to name a few options. Like recently, we went to the Nationals baseball game here in DC, and I estimate that at least 40% of the workers there, the employees, were senior citizens, which was pretty darn cool. Plus, they got to see the game for free. Can't beat that. Now, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, there were over 30,000 seniors involved in the leisure industry in 2022. So ushers, lobby attendants, and ticket takers, that's just to name a few jobs in the field, they can earn approximately $14 an hour. Now, as a bonus, you get free entertainment or discount tickets. Kendra Kanoy specializes in helping active people with joint pain. She stops the cycle of pills, eliminates the need to use kinesio tape and invasive surgeries by helping her clients heal naturally so that they can get back to moving their bodies without the fear of injury. Her accelerated regeneration method allows pickleball players, runners, hikers, golfers, dancers, and world travelers to sink back into their passion fully, and it puts the stop to the revolving door at the physical therapist office. As a result, many of Kendra's clients have canceled scheduled surgeries. They have been able to not only get back in the game, but even boldly try new sports and activities with their regenerated joints. With a background in health, fitness, corrective exercise, and a former professional dancer, she is uniquely equipped to understand the frustrations of her clients when they are held back by their joint pain and how important it is to take back control of their health as they age. Kendra, thank you so much for joining us today. This is a much needed topic.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
So, of all the health concerns that's out there, what inspired you to help people with joint pain specifically?
Yes. And I have been able to help people with all sorts of different health concerns. However, probably like a lot of health practitioners, we come into things because of our own experience. And so, being a professional dancer many years ago, I had my own experience with an injury, not from dancing. However, it was from a car accident.
Mhm.
And it left me with a hip injury that I danced on for a while, like a lot of athletes will do. It's like if you can hop through it or shake it off a little bit. But lo and behold, after a couple of months of that, I actually had to, I didn't crawl off stage, but I was able to get off stage, but I had to then crawl to the dressing room on my hands and knees because my hip flexor had completely just given out. So, I was just about 30 years old at that time. And I say that because I was doing all of the practices that we are taught. I was going to physical therapy, doing all the stretches, chiropractic, acupuncture, massage. And even at that younger age, my body wasn't healing. So it took me 2 years of my healing journey to figure out the tools in order to heal myself. And that was like this huge light bulb moment, because I've also been working as a fitness professional and, prescribing or recommending certain styles of eating. And it turns out what I learned is completely different from that. Um, and yeah, so that just shifted the way that I care for myself, and then also how I help other people learn to care for themselves and help them feel better. And I think because I've been teaching this for about 13 years now, some of my favorite testimonials are, like you mentioned in that great introduction, that they had serious joint issues. I mean, pain is pain, and you can't compare that between people, but people who were about to get joint replacements. And by working with me and going through my transformation, they were able to cancel that. And so that to me is huge. I mean, you're taking, something so invasive and a long recovery, and who knows how things are going to go. I mean, typically joint replacements go well more often than not, but there's always those risks, and those become really big. So that's why I decided to really focus on this group of active people, because if you're playing, I use pickleball just because that's one of the most popular, fastest growing sports out there. And I'm starting to get into it. And a lot of older tennis players are getting into it because it's a little bit easier on the joints than tennis. But we need to stay healthy, and you want to be able to stay in the game. And then, like I said, maybe even go above and beyond and start competing or something, or just try different activities. But I really am drawn to people that want to engage in life and use their bodies, and they're motivated by that.
So I guess my first thought is, what are you doing that's different than a physical therapist? Are you providing, is it stretches? I know, because I just did physical therapy with a frozen shoulder. And of course, there's a lot of different exercises and stretches. So I guess my first thought is, what are you doing that's different that would keep someone from needing to go to physical therapy? Wouldn't it be pretty much the similar or the same?
What's interesting is I'm not really doing anything physically. I'm not recommending, even though I have the corrective exercise and I have that background and know-how, and I've taught foam rolling classes and things like that. But the real trick is learning to put your body in a state to heal itself. And that means, what things are you consuming in your food, in your drinks, supplementation, and then even more powerfully, what are you consuming in your thoughts, and what are you speaking, and the power that has over our healing.
Okay. Can you give some examples?
Yes. So there's there's various elimination diets out there, right? To think of, oh, is my inflammation being perpetuated by this group or that group of food? And I have found that while, yes, you can eliminate one thing at a time, doing a comprehensive elimination of everything that are, primary inflammatory culprits. There's ultimately everything is different and it kind of depends on the person, but allowing people to flush as much inflammation out of their body naturally for a set period of time, and then doing the reintroduction kind of in reverse that a lot of people do. And that's really the most powerful thing, because it's teaching people. I use the term set point. What is the set point? Like, you might be able to tolerate a certain amount of gluten, for example. Oh, and I might be able to tolerate a little bit more or less, or, and helping people find that set point where we can still be in that state of healing. And our bodies are brilliant. Our bodies are designed to be able to injure themselves and recover, or cut themselves and recover, or, all of these things. But unfortunately, our modern lifestyles, some of it's our choosing, but then some of it's the way our food is farmed and produced and things like that. Some of it we don't really have as much control over, like the environmental toxins and things. But as much as we can control, finding that set point of, okay, this is where I can still do my pickleball. I can still maybe roll an ankle a little bit and then have that heal naturally within a couple of days. And then at the same time, not be super strict and never have sugar and never have gluten ever again. So there are some of those people that, more power to them. I appreciate their willpower, but I like to help people find that healthy middle ground to where they can do the things that they love. And that might include whining and dining a little bit too,
Okay. I've never heard the term flush out the toxins. So you saying that if I got hurt from golf and, golf or pickleball, that the inflammation can be flushed out by the things that I eat, not necessarily through exercises, or I guess I'm not understanding.
Yes. And that was the part of the big light bulb moment for me. So with inflammation, we have acute inflammation. So when you hurt the shoulder or rolled the ankle or bump on the head, that's the most obvious, because it gets red and sometimes there's a bump and the blood is rushing to it, which is inflammation, and it's going to heal and do its work. Well, that's great. And I don't know the exact time frame, but we'll just say a few days. That's a healthy, normal process of the body healing itself. Now, what I learned in my experience and now teach is, well, with all of the toxic overload that most of us have, unfortunately, that is continuing to feed that inflammation. So you now go from acute inflammation to chronic inflammation. And so we're talking joints and injuries, but that inflammation also extends to the major disease groups: cancer, diabetes, heart disease. One of my favorite articles that I send to my clients and quote a lot of times when I present and speak different places is a heart surgeon who at the end of his career said that he had cut open 5,000 chests in his career, which is a weird concept to begin with. And he said at the root cause of all of those heart issues, it was inflammation. And so that's when you open up to the idea that every single symptom in your body, especially a prolonged one, right? If it's past that acute phase, is the body saying, I've got a situation that is not healing. And that's why at 30 years old, I wasn't healing, even though I was doing all the things I was prescribed from those hands-on practitioner.
Okay.
Mhm.
So the first thing that came to my mind is like someone who has diabetes, their sore doesn't heal because there's a deficiency in their body. So that's sort of the flushing out the toxins. You're balancing the body or getting the body back healthy so that the inflammation can naturally leave.
Exactly. And inflammation and toxins go hand in hand, and weight loss goes hand in hand because any excess toxins that our body takes in, that our liver, kidney, our natural organs that are designed to process them, when they can't, when it's an overload, they push those toxins into our fat cells to store.
Okay.
So then the fat is actually serving a purpose. And so that's why when we can flush the toxins and inflammation out, the fat cells are now free to shrink.
Okay.
So the weight loss comes with it, which, you know, I feel like it's more motivating and a driver to be able to walk, pick up your grandkids, play pickleball. Like, to me, those are the real quality of life things that are important. Weight loss, sure. I mean, there's health issues that can come with being overweight, but some of it's also vanity. And that's why, to me, that doesn't keep people as motivated and committed to the process of transforming themselves. So helping people really focus on, like, I have my current client right now, she's 73 and she loves gardening, but she hasn't been able to crouch down in the garden and do that. And she's also been on Weight Watchers for a long time. And I told her, I said, okay, we got to just let go of the points system for now. So, let me do my thing and we can see how it works for you. And I said, let's just keep your eye on the gardening and walking with your grandkids. And she's like, yeah, okay. Like that's inspiring. Losing 10 pounds, sure, that would be a nice bonus. And I told her it'll probably happen without even having to think about it and count any points or calories. But getting that inflammation and those toxins out of the way is what makes the big difference.
And different diets, I'm sure that can cause, everybody's different. And I'm sure it can cause a deficiency in one person and maybe not another, like you were mentioning earlier. So, okay, so I'm changing my thinking already regarding inflammation. So if I'm swinging a tennis racket, not sure what you call it, and I hurt my wrist, or, swinging the golf club, I'm causing inflammation in those joints, in those muscles.
Yes. And that's the funny thing about exercise is exercise in itself is inflammatory. But stay with me. And especially if it is really aggressive, like if you jump into a CrossFit class, which I've done a couple times and tried to be the hero, and then, oh my gosh, I can't even straighten my arms the next day. But even a more mild intermediate workout, it's still, pounding on those joints a little bit and but the greater benefit of continuing to be active, as long as you're doing it in a smart, safe manner and taking care to stretch and rest periodically, then that is an anti-inflammatory habit. But I do remind people, but if you are going to go do a really long hike or do a CrossFit workout or something, take care of your body immediately by getting hydration and the proper nutrients and rest and foam rolling, or, whatever the self-care routine is, so that you can recover and be fully prepared for your next adventure and endeavor.
So how do you work with your clients? How do you start your process?
I have done groups in the past, and now I really do a hybrid where I work with people one-on-one, but then I also I add them into a Facebook group, which is helpful because there's camaraderie in people making some of these lifestyle changes. And so many of the questions everybody else has too, or they haven't thought about the questions. So it helps people, jog people's thoughts about different situations and maybe traveling, like if they haven't gone on a trip yet and realized, ooh, how do I prepare for traveling in a healthy manner? So I do group coaching calls, and typically an 8-week transformation process is what I plug people into. I found that that's enough time to make some changes at a reasonable pace. And then at the end, really look at, okay, let's integrate into real life, where you don't have this group and me as a coach kind of helping you every day or every week, and thinking, okay, how are we going to get to that set point, right? Where we can know that X, Y, and Z are our big triggers, but A, B, and C we're okay with. So how do we integrate those things so that then they can live a more normal lifestyle, in the sense of still going out to dinners and parties and vacations and being able to enjoy those things without throwing themselves out of that healing state and into being more inflamed. I definitely, world travel is a part of my being. And so I've actually written a guide on healthy travel and how to handle airports and airplanes and that kind of thing, because while it's great to go out and adventure and see things around the world, you're also, coming into contact with new foods and, new things that might be able to throw people off. So that's my usual process to help really transform people and have the ahas. Like, I love that you're having an aha about inflammation already, and really just helping people shift how they think of caring for their bodies.
Yeah, I can guarantee that probably what you deal with even more, even in the face groups, that we get to a certain age and we don't understand why we can't do what we used to do in our 20s and
Yes.
30s. Okay, Kendra, how could a potential client reach you?
So I am on Facebook. I am on Instagram. I have a Facebook group that's called Accelerated Regeneration, which is really the method that I created and utilized to help people accelerate their body's regeneration. And so that would probably be the most active way to view and get to know me. Or if, what I'm saying is resonating, I also do a discovery call with people to find out what they're experiencing and see if we're a fit for each other, that if I believe that I can help transform them.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's been great to talk to you.